So a federal judge has ordered 2 Colorado lawyers who filed a lawsuit late last year challenging the 2020 election results to pay nearly $187,000 in legal fees towards the groups that they sued over the big lie, over the voter fraud nonsense. Oh, we had mass voter fraud, so much voter fraud. Okay, prove it. Oh, shit, we got nothing. Oh, absolutely nothing. Surprise. Now, the 2 lawyers, Gary D. Fielder and Ernest John Walker, had actually filed a class action lawsuit in December of 2020 on behalf of, get this, 160 million voters. Huh. Wait, okay. 160. Now, I'm going to break down the math, because this is interesting. So, now this class action lawsuit was brought on behalf of 160 million American voters and alleged that there was a complicated plot to steal the election from Trump. Wow. Okay. They argued, of course without evidence, that there was a scheme engineered by Dominion Voting Systems, Facebook, more specifically, Mark Zuckerberg, not just Facebook, Mark Zuckerberg himself and his wife. You know, because I guess if you're going to engage in crime, I mean, the couple that does crime together stays together. And as well as other elected officials in 4 states. And so massive conspiracy as always. They had actually sought about $160 billion in damages. I'm guessing one for, every voter. $1 billion for every vote. I don't know. This is insane. Now, of course, big issues. We got some issues. Some red flags here. So notice, I keep harping on the number, 160 million voters. How many people voted in the 2020 election? Less than that. About 159 million ballots were cast. Now, it just so happened that you had more of them that went to Joe Biden than Donald Trump. That's how it worked. Biden got more of the popular vote in some of the more important places, electorally, I should say, as it pertains to the Electoral College. Of course, the Electoral College is a disaster. We should get rid of it. Nice little remnants of slavery there and Jim Crow, but nonetheless, that's how it works. That's how our system works. So more votes in certain places net you more electoral votes. You win the Electoral College, and then also Biden won the I'm sorry. Not only did he win the Electoral College, but he also won the popular vote. So that's kind of how it shook out. What was it? 81 million votes for Biden, 77 for Trump. 77 million for Trump. Is there 77 or 71 million? I can't remember the exact figure, but all right. The point is, the guy is claiming to represent more people than actually voted in the election, which again, super odd. Very strange. Weird. So it's no surprise this case had actually already been dismissed back in April by Magistrate Judge N. Reed Norrider. So, but it went further. In August, Norrider also ruled that the attorneys had violated their ethical obligations by filing this nonsense, bogus, bullshit lawsuit in the first place, arguing that the duo had run afoul of legal rules that prohibit the wasting of time in court, or basically doing these nonsense, frivolous, bullshit lawsuits and lying to the court, lodging information in court that isn't true, again, lying. Now, at that time, the magistrate also called their suit lazy, conspiratorial, filled with lies, and added that it was, quote unquote, the stuff of which violent insurrections are made. Yep. Judging what happened on January 6th. Correct. Now, before ordering them to pay the legal fees of all the many entities that they had sued, the new ruling made on Monday also ordered the pair to pay just over $11,000 to cover the legal fees of the states of Michigan and Pennsylvania. Thank you very much. We'll take that. Both defendants of the suit, a dollar figure the duo agreed was fair. However, However, the two lawyers were mad about giving Facebook money. Now, these three entities, Facebook, Dominion Voting Systems, and the Center for Tech and Civic Life, an election reform advocacy group that has received funding from Zuckerberg and Chan. So let me just say, they actually asked for a lot more money. I'm going to give you how much money they asked for a little bit. But let me just say that Facebook doesn't need this money. And Facebook needs less money. In fact, I think Facebook should be broken up. I think all these tech companies should not be as large as they are, should not have as much control over our system, over our discourse as they do currently. Nonetheless, right, I'd like to see the money. And this is $50,000 that Facebook is asking for. $50,000. I'd rather see that go to somewhere else. Just saying. Now, Fielder and Walker are going to pay $50,000 to Facebook, $62,930 each to Dominion and CTCL. And Norrider argued that the billing records submitted by the group shows the fees were reasonable given the prominence of the lawyers who worked in the case and the amount of time they spent. So basically, well, Facebook, they're rich. They can hire really, really great lawyers. And that worked out for them in this case. I can still argue that Facebook can afford good lawyers. Just saying. They really, really don't need that money. But I still agree that there should be penalties for bringing these bogus nonsense lawsuits. Now, I want to give you some of the quotes from the ruling, because this is fun. As officers of the court, these attorneys have a higher duty in calling that requires meaningful investigation before prematurely repeating in court pleadings unverified and uninvestigated defamatory rumors that strike at the heart of our democratic system and were used by others to foment a violent insurrection that threatened our system of government. They are experienced lawyers who should have known better. They need to take responsibility for their misconduct. And he added that the hefty fees were appropriate given the severity of the violation and because the lawyers, and this is important, the lawyers had solicited donations from what he called the arguably innocent and gullible public to fund this suit. So this makes me think of Steve Bannon and We Fund the Wall. So Steve Bannon's a crook. He's a literal criminal, pardoned by Donald Trump. And yet, you know, he went and the reason, of course, that he got in trouble in the first place is because he did this scam fundraiser to build a wall on the southern border, and he just took the money and he put it in his pocket. Literal thief. And now these guys are going out there saying, oh, no, yeah, we got evidence. We can definitely prove the election has been stolen if you just give us money. Just give it to me. Give me donations. Give me donations. Yeah. Now, he also said, he had also weighed whether the penalties could chill future legitimate lawsuits. That is, of course, a concern, but then concluded that the repetition of defamatory and potentially dangerous unverified allegations is the kind of advocacy, quote unquote, that needs to be chilled. Again, when you look at this, I can't help but agree. Yes, penalties. We should have penalties. We should chill this sort of just nonsense. It wastes their time, our money. We're paying for this. And it's nothing, and I'm nothing but chasing nonsense, bullshit conspiracies. If you have evidence of the fraud, please submit it. I want to see the fraud. Like, honestly, I don't want election fraud. I don't want voter fraud. No, I want us to have free and fair elections. So please, if you have evidence that proves, without a shadow of a doubt, that, hey, man, there's somebody manipulating our elections, I would like to fucking know. Because I would like the problem to be solved. I want everybody's vote to be represented. I actually want us to be able to believe that our vote has power. And to have trust in the system. And to have other people have trust in the system. But it's not happening. It's not happening. There is no voter fraud. Okay? There is no widespread electoral fraud. It's just not happening at the level that certain people think it is. There are individual cases of voter fraud that have been exposed. Mainly it's been right-wingers. But, you know, which is pretty ironic. Oh, no, we were just testing the system. Yeah, no, we were just testing it, making sure that everything worked, and It turns out, it actually worked. Yeah, no, because it's incredibly rare. And we actually do have robust systems in place already. So, and again, if they had evidence, they would have presented it already. And they haven't. And it's pretty clear the reason why. So, no, all of this is, what this is fundraising. That's what it is. It's fundraising, it's online clout chasing, it's real world clout chasing. And of course, it's because of, mainly because of the Republican Party is the party of Trump now. He makes, by the way, not just Trump, but Trumpism makes otherwise learned people dumber. That's what it is. That's what Republicans have turned into. The majority of GOP electeds are actually well-educated people. But, and of course, so are the lawyers, right? But you have right-wing disinformation, you have delusion, you have clout chasing, you have money, monetary incentives that have sapped people of either their dignity, sense of reality, or any, I guess any morality that they might have had. It's like watching people go into a cult. Except it's millions of people, and some who are in power. And it's amazing to watch in its scope, but also incredibly horrifying at the same time. Now, one more thing. Now, the lawyers aren't the only people that are in trouble, going to pay up. And in fact, you have a federal judge in Michigan that has ordered Sidney Powell, remember the Kraken lawyer, Lynn Wood and others, could be financially, that judge ordered them to be financially penalized and referred them for grievance proceedings that could result in the loss of their licenses. In June, a panel of judges in New York also suspended Rudy Giuliani's law license. I know, it's so very sad. Yes. Arguing Trump's personal lawyer had communicated demonstrably false and misleading statements that amounted to an ongoing threat. Public. Good. I do want to see more officials face consequences for flat out lying and deceiving the public. And that's what it is. It's a deception. It's a gigantic deception leading people to not only to false narratives so that other people can profit, but also, as we've seen in many cases, violence. Let's start to see a little bit of accountability. If you enjoyed this video, please give us a like and share with your friends. You can subscribe and help out the channel by becoming a patron. It's patreon.com/Jeff Waldorf, or you can become a channel member as well by hitting the join button below.